Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andrew Rosentowski. I'm back with another UFC prediction video. This time, UFC Fight Night, Garcia versus Onama. This event goes down today, Saturday, November 1st, 2025. Prelims begin at 4 p.m. It's going down from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's get into it, guys. First prelim fight, Talita Alankar against Ariana Carnelosi. Carnelosi, she just doesn't fight often. One fight winning streak, 32 years old. Last fought in 2024, won the fight by Piera Rodriguez was intentionally headbutting her or something. So again, she has not fought often. Alankar, one fight winning streak, 35 years old. Picked up a win over Vanessa Dinopolis. I think that was a real heavy grappling approach there. And I'm going to side with Alankar here. Current odds, she's a minus 200. I'm going to side with Alankar. Phil Rowe against Hyun Ko. Let's take a look at Rowe. He's still in the UFC. I think he picked up a win in his last fight, which kept him on the UFC roster. Beat Ange Luso, who's no longer with the promotion. Lost to Matthews prior to that, Magny. Again, it's just, he's been with the UFC a while, but it's just really inconsistent. Hyun Ko. 5-fight winning streak, 32 years old. Beat Oban Elliott in his last fight, which is a really good win to have. I'm going to side with a Ko here. Let's look at the odds. Minus 175, minus 185. I'm going to pick Ko here for the win. Montserrat Ruiz against Elise Ardeline. Ardeline, she's like a minus 400 in this fight. One fight winning streak, beat Rayana Dos Santos. I think she was a huge dog in that fight. No, plus 175. Lost to Melissa Martinez, Shauna Bannon, but she really scraps in a lot of her fights. I think she's got a big following, I believe in the UK or something. Ruiz, 3-fight losing streak. The UFC will probably release her after this fight. Ardeline, she's a minus 400 favorite. I'm going to side with Ardeline. Ketlin Vieira against Norma Dumont. I mean, both these women are highly ranked in the bantamweight division. And I think I'm going to side with Dumont here. 5-fight winning streak, 35 years old. Again, she's beat all the right people you need to beat. And, I think it's almost time for her to get a shot at that belt once Amanda Nunes or whatever fights for it. Ketlin Vieira, she's been at the top of this division for a while. She's been in the UFC almost 10 years now, I think. 34 years old. Beat Meishi Shiasan in her last fight, which is a really good win. I mean, this is an interesting fight. It's actually, a pretty high level matchup between two, like I said, two top ranked female bantamweights. I'm gonna lean Dumont here for the better striking, but again, this should be interesting. Next up, Dante Johnson against Cedric Dumas. Again, Johnson, I believe he fought at heavyweight on the Contender Series. Made quick work of Darlan Abi back in August. And he's going up against Cedric Dumas, who is still on the UFC roster despite some of what's going on in his personal life. Again, no contest in his last fight. Lost to Olin Jacek before that. I'm going to side with Dante Johnson here to pick up the win. Timmy Kawamba against Cheng Ho Lee. I believe this is almost like a pick'em fight now. Yeah, minus 115, minus 105. Bookmaker has Kawamba as a slight favorite. So let's take a look. Cheng Ho Lee, 5-fight winning streak. Nice win over Octavius Romulus prior to that. Beat Long Zhao. Let's take a look at Timmy Kawamba. 1-fight winning streak, beat Roberto Romero. I'm going to side with Cheng Ho Lee here. But again, it's a pick'em fight. Kevin Christian against Billy Elakana. Billy Elakana, man, this guy pulled off a win in his last fight. I guess it was pretty boring. I didn't watch it, but he beat Ivo Aslan, who's really lost a lot of his hype. He lost to Bogdan Guskov on short notice prior to that, and he's going up against Kevin Christian here. Don't really know much about Christian here, but let's take a look at it. 6-fight winning streak, 30 years old. He's coming off the Contender Series in 2024, so this guy, he's been inactive for over a year. Don't know exactly what happened. Again, I don't really know much about the guy. But Billy Alacena, he's a 2.5 to 1 favorite here. I'm going to side with Alacena. Alan Nascimento against Cody Durden. Catchweight fight, 130 pounds. Durden took this fight on late notice. 2-fight losing streak, 34 years old. Again, he's probably going to try to scrap, make it, I don't know if he's going to try to keep it standing or take down Alan Nascimento. He's probably going to gas. Nascimento, 3-fight winning streak. Nice win over Fieldho prior to that. We know how good he is. Again, so he's got some good wins. I'm going to side with Nascimento here. Next up, Charles Radtke against Daniel Frunza. Daniel Frunza, 1-fight losing streak. Lost to Reese McKee earlier this year. Charles Radtke, 1-fight losing streak. Lost to Mike Malott. Beat Matthew Semmelsberger prior to that. I'm going to side with Chuck Radtke here. Charles Radtke. He is currently a minus 180, minus 170. But again, this should be an interesting striker fight. Isaac Dogarian against Yadir Davelli. Yadir, he was on the Contender Series, I believe, 29 years old. Got a lot of first-round finishes. Well, no, he did fight in the UFC once already. Beat Conor Matthews in May. But again, he was on the Contender Series in 2024. And he's going up against Dogarian, who, like I said, a guy appears to be a really good wrestler. 29 years old. He did lose to Christian Rodriguez a couple fights ago by split decision. I think he kind of gassed. Beat Brandon Marat prior to his last fight. So again, and he hasn't fought in over a year. Wow, I didn't realize it was been that long. But I'm going to pick Dogarian to pick up the win here. Jeremiah Wells against Garimbo. Just not sold on Garimbo. I don't think a lot of people are. 1-fight losing streak. He's saying he had an injury going into that Luque fight. Again, Jeremiah Wells, he's getting up there in age. It seems like the UFC's trying to get Garimbo a win here. 2-fight losing streak. But this guy he is built. He seems really strong for welterweight. Does not fight often, man. So that's probably the biggest issue with the guy. He just does not fight often. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. He's up there in age. But I'm going to pick him. I'm going to pick Wells over Garimbo. Co-main event, Delija against Walter Cortez Acosta. And like I said, I did not see Delila's last fight against Tybura. He did pick up the win there. Finished him, which is impressive. Cortez Acosta, the guy's a good fighter. I mean, he had a tough fight his last fight against Pavlovich. Pavlovich fought a very smart fight. And Acosta just really couldn't get off. But Acosta, to me, in my opinion, he's a tough fighter to beat, man. He's going to be in there. He's game. He's a big guy. He's got a big weight advantage over Delilah. I actually like Acosta here, and the money is coming against him, but I'm going to side with Acosta here, man. He's a tough dude to beat. If you do beat Acosta, man, you are in the top echelon of the UFC heavyweight division, and we'll see if Delilah has done that. He's getting a lot of hype because he just beat Tybura, but Acosta, man, he's a tough dude to beat. So I'm going to side with Acosta. Main event, Steve Garcia and David Onama. Current odds, Garcia minus 128, Onama plus 108. Again, this fight really hasn't moved. The betting odds have kind of been here all week. And again, good fight. Steve Garcia asked for a main event, and he's got it. I believe he's on a 6-fight winning streak. Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's on a 6-fight winning streak. Good for him. 33 years old, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach. So he's a big featherweight, man. Going up against Onama, who's also a pretty big featherweight. 5'11", 74-inch reach. And I'm going to side with the dog here, man. I mean, this fight can go either way. I think there's a lot of pressure on Garcia because he called for this. He wanted this. I think he wanted somebody a little higher up in the rankings. But, you know, when you start thinking like that, That's when things kind of can happen to you in this fight. And I'm going to side with Onama here. Maybe Garcia starts strong and fades. Maybe he gets caught. Maybe Garcia drops Onama. But I'm going to side with the dog here in this matchup, and that's David Onama to pick up the win. So again, guys, my picks: Onama, Cortez Acosta, Wells, Bulgarian, Ratke, Nascimento, Billy Alakenya, Chang Ho Lee, Dante Johnson, Dumont, Ardeline, Seek Hyen Ko, and Talita Alankar.